Hello and thanks for joining us from our studios in Israel. I'm Aaron Porras here with ILTV's Morning Briefing.
The United Nations has over 10,000 troops in South Lebanon right now, tasked with maintaining peace in the region following the rise of Hezbollah. Now, after months of debate on whether to expand the mission or not, there's just been a critical vote, and it looks like they'll be extending efforts to keep illegal weapons out of Hezbollah's hands. This is a major win for Israel, who's been fiercely critical of the United Nations Interim Force in Lebanon, or UNIFIL, and the Security Council for being too soft on Hezbollah over the years. But now the thousands of UN troops will be granted widened powers. They're now allowed to physically enter villages where Hezbollah cells operate and take, quote, all necessary options at their own discretion. The mandate passed with a unanimous show of hands to the relief of Israeli and American ambassadors. The United Nations Security Council has given the new resolution the official okay, which means the decision is to take effect immediately. United States peace envoy Jason Greenblatt has just been given a tour of the Gaza border area, and he's got a strong message for Hamas after what he's seen. He called on Hamas to relinquish control of the Strip to the Palestinian Authority, as well as return the bodies of IDF soldiers Oron Shaul and Hadar Golden, and the civilians Avraham Mengistu, Hisham al-Sayed, and Juma Ibrahim Abu Ghanima. He said, quote, "Today I visited the Gaza border region and learned a great deal about the difficult challenges facing the IDF, Israelis living in surrounding areas, and the Palestinians living in Gaza as a result of Hamas's mismanagement of humanitarian aid and its commitment to terrorist violence," end quote. COJAT coordinator Major General Mordechai mirrored the sentiments, saying no significant developments could continue in the Strip without the soldiers being returned. The bodies of Shaul and Golden were kept since 2014, but the other three, Al-Sayed, Abu Ghanima, and Mengistu, are said to have wandered into the Strip on their own before being captured and detained by Hamas. Speaking last night at a Likud party support rally, Prime Minister Netanyahu took time to praise his various achievements and blast the media. He started by discussing how, quote, Israel is a rising world power thanks to its economic, military, and diplomatic strength. But when he moved his sights to the weekly protests in Petah Tikva, where citizens are demanding the prime minister be indicted, Netanyahu laid down exactly what he thought of the media. He said, quote, "The fake news industry is at its peak, and the goal of the protests is to indict me at any cost. They cover enthusiastically and without end the left-wing protests every week, the same protests whose goal is to apply improper pressure in order that an indictment will be filed at any cost," end quote. The two cases he's being investigated in are known as cases 1000 and 2000 respectively, and their possible charges range from misuse of public funds and breach of trust to bribery, graft, and more. Prime Minister Netanyahu has consistently and vehemently denied any wrongdoing, and apparently many people agree, as roughly 2,000 to 3,000 people showed up at the rally last night to show their support. One of the biggest evacuations in post-war Germany is now taking place following the discovery of a massive bomb from World War II in Frankfurt. Construction workers were carrying out some ordinary building work near Goethe University in the German city when they found it, a 1,400-ton British bomb hidden at the site. Luckily, the bomb did not and has not exploded, which is clearly why it was able to remain there for so long without having been discovered. Back during the Second World War, massive bombs just like this one were actually nicknamed blockbusters by the German media because of their ability to wipe out entire streets or buildings. And 70,000 people are now being evacuated from homes near the site of the latest blockbuster discovery, but officers are guarding the area and saying there is currently no danger. It's been 70 years since the end of the war, but unexploded ordnances are regularly found buried under German land, dangerous reminders of Allied forces' intense bombing campaigns against Nazi Germany. The last big evacuation to take place after the discovery of an old bomb was in the southern city of Augsburg, where 54,000 people were forced out of their homes last Christmas. The Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah, is fast approaching, and in preparation of a massive annual pilgrimage, Ukraine has begun preparing. It's a common practice for Jews who follow the teachings of the 18th century Rabbi Nachman to gather at the site of his grave in Uman. In previous years, upwards of 30,000 pilgrims have made their way to the grave. Unfortunately, not everyone is so happy about the annual influx of Jews to their town, though, and in the past few years, a rising number of far-right rallies have protested their visit. Even a few street brawls have popped up. These tensions, as well as just having to accommodate a huge group of visitors in the town, has led local Ukrainian authorities to have to prepare for conflicts and any other emergency situation that might occur at popular gathering places. As part of their preparations, rescue services have improved accessways to the city and have also planned to reopen unused military airports to facilitate flights. At least 40,000 Jewish pilgrims are expected to visit during this year's holidays.
That's all for now. I'm Aaron Porras, and see you later with our main daily broadcast from Israel at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.